This is Close Encounters. Close Encounters. True stories, real people. Close Encounters on Cross Rhythms.
Yes, hello and welcome to Close Encounters with me, Anne Donaldson. My guest today is Paul Jones. Welcome, Paul, to Close Encounters.
Oh, thank you, Anne. It's so good to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, it's good to have you. And we're really looking forward to hearing more about, life's adventures so far, the ups and the downs, and the challenges and the joys.
Yeah.
So I know that you are someone who loves cycling. I've been so impressed. Cycling, was it 9 miles to work every day?
Yeah. So, I work in Uttoxeter, live in Cheadle. So some of your viewers might appreciate this, but my wife and I both had a car a few years ago, and with the cost of everything, we thought, I can't afford to keep 2 cars running. So I decided to draw the short straw and buy a bicycle.
Oh, wonderful, yeah. And your work is in Uttoxeter, as you say. You're associate pastor at Renewed Church there. Yeah. And you're married to Emma. Yeah. And we're going to hear more about how you and Emma met. So that's lovely. But let's start with your early childhood, Paul. Where were you born?
Yeah, so I was born in Cambridgeshire. My family lived in Littleport, and then we moved to Whittlesea when I was about 3 or 4 years old, near Peterborough.
Okay.
And from early years, they were actually Christians. My parents were amazing people. And from an early sort of age, grew up sort of knowing God.
That's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. And so knowing him, was there a point where you actually made that more personal to you? Yeah,
so my parents decided to homeschool us. And in that process, really, part of that was learning about God and that. And I'd say they led me in that from a young age. But then when I was 8 years old, I went along to a Christian camp that put on, and I remember they talked about Jesus and like believing in Jesus and having faith in him, sort of thing. And I remember I responded to that. I went up to the front. Aww. And really amazing moment. And when I went up there, I remember experiencing the presence of God over me. Wow. And it felt like waves of liquid love. That experience of what I know now as the Holy Spirit coming and just touching my heart, and waves of liquid love. And I remember I was there sort of kneeling down and just crying as I experienced it. And as I came out of that meeting, my friend Josh was there. I'm still good friends with him today. Oh. And he asked me, oh, Paul, are you okay? Are you okay? What are you crying for? Are you upset?
Yeah.
I said, no, I've experienced the love of God, and I can feel it in me.
Oh, and that's amazing. That's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. And how do you describe that? It has to be experienced for yourself, doesn't it? Yeah. That's absolutely wonderful. So throughout schooling, you're, say, 8 years old when that happens. So being homeschooled, were you exposed to children who would tease you or make life hard for you?
And I'm not including my sister in this.
Okay, that's good.
No, she's great. So my brother and sister sort of in there. We're all homeschooled. And my parents were brilliant at getting us involved in things outside of school as well, after school clubs, scouts, other things. I went on a bit later to go to college. I studied construction at college at 16. So that was my first time in formal education, going to college, studying construction. And just there were moments in there through some of those after school clubs and later on that weren't a great influence on me, I'd say. They had some... brought out some insecurities in me. Right. I got picked on for being a Christian because I was quite I suppose there was a childhood naivety, I suppose, to how the world would be when I told them I follow Jesus, sort of thing. And I got a bit picked on for that, and that drew out some insecurities in me during that time.
And these things, if they're not dealt with as we grow up, they can have a hold, can't they? Those insecurities.
And there was a particular moment when we had one of the local assessors come over from the local government to come and assess how we're doing with homeschooling. And I remember they said something along the line, this is how my childhood, might not be in the exact words, but my ears heard it as, Paul's a bit stupid. And those were sort of quite powerful words to hear at quite a young age.
Yeah, that would have a big impact. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. And so you were part of a church growing up?
Yes, great church, yeah. That was part of the reason we moved to Whittlesea, Peterborough, great church there. Yeah. Very good.
So you'd got good friends around you.
Yes, got great Christian friends as well.
That's excellent. Yeah. And so that was good influence. What other influences? Obviously, your parents, your church. What other influences were there in your life at that time? Yeah.
Well, there was a number of things. So one of the things. My dad did. He used to take me out on the market stalls. So in my sort of more teenage years, I suppose, I started, part of homeschooling was to just do life together and explore different things. So I started to go out doing these, and I had this sort of influence of people around me sort of in the market square, public space sort of thing, and going into auction houses and bidding on things and all of that. Or do I put my hand up now or not? And all those moments of that, being on people who say, a bit like Del Boy and Rodney sort of thing.
But you find, don't you, that all these things actually God uses again, doesn't he? Those things that seem just simple things in your childhood, God can take hold of and bring them into latter years and use them for him. That's great.
Yes,
So you've chosen for your first song, History Maker. Tell us why.
So growing up, something that we used to go through as kids, I remember, bearing in mind we lived in Whittlesea, we went to Alton Towers, and Delirious were doing a concert there. And it's the first time I saw them, and I went to see them a few times over the following years. And I remember this song and having that thinking in my heart, I want to be a history maker too. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to share that today.
Yeah, we'll listen to that now. Thank you. You're listening to Close Encounters. I'm Anne Donaldson, and my guest today is Paul Jones. So, Paul, before listening to that song, you were saying that you'd gone to college to do construction.
Yeah.
You didn't pursue that further?
Oh, well, I tried.
Right.
It was in 2008, and if you might remember, there was a time of recession then, wasn't there? So I sent CVs out to 50 different companies all around Peterborough, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. So I had to try and pursue something else. Yeah.
So what did you pursue?
Yeah, well, I tried a number of different careers. I worked. I did work for a mechanic for a bit. I tried my hand delivering sandwiches and all sorts of things, and then eventually I found gardening, and I was offered a job with a landscaping firm. Yeah. And I started doing that, and that was great. So I started doing that part-time. But then, again, that was only like a day or two a week. So I thought I had still space. Yes. For something else as well, and I still had this heart. I want to be a history maker, like I just heard, and do something with that. So there was an opportunity at my church at the time, Kingsgate in Peterborough, to do an internship, and I just felt like maybe God's closing the door on what I thought was a good idea to go down that route with construction in order to do that. Yeah. So I went through that door.
and that was really where you found that was the fit, wasn't it, for you?
It was an amazing year. Amazing year. Just sharing a bit about some insecurities I'd had over that time. I started to look at some of those as well. Yeah. And allow sort of, some of what it says in the Bible, some truth to come into my heart.
That's it. Yeah. And that is it. That's the cure, isn't it? Is what does the Bible say? Yeah. Who does God say I am? Yes. What does God say about me? Yeah. And when you start to allow that truth to permeate, I can identify with what you're saying. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. And so he'd got you in the right place, definitely. Yeah. So from there, what you went on to Bible college?
Down the line, I did. Eventually. Down the line. Yeah. It was sort of part of my insecurities. I'd always felt that that's something I couldn't do.
Okay.
And it was that original thing, Paul's a bit stupid.
Yes.
Showing its face again.
Yeah.
And God took me through a real journey and process it. So one of the things that happened was a friend of mine came back from this Bible college, and I saw the change in him.
Yeah.
And I knew who he'd been before, and how he came back, I thought, I need what he's got.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And I recognised a change in him. Yeah. And he encouraged me to go ahead and do it. And I ended up took someone else with me to uni, to the Bible college, and when I went there, I thought, I'd just go and visit, sort of thing. And then I sat next to somebody else who'd been homeschooled, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. And he encouraged me to do it. Yeah. And I had to write an essay, because I went as a mature student at that time, at 23. Yeah. And I hadn't got an A-level or GCSE to my name, but they said, write an essay, we'll assess that, and then you can get in as a mature student, sort of thing. So that was the route I went down.
Oh, that's wonderful. And God used that time powerfully.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So he dealt with, I think you were sharing with me before we came on there, that there was an addiction that was trying to get hold of you. Yes,
So really from quite a young age, I'd struggled with things around pornography, and it was something that I always knew it was wrong. I'd kept it a secret, as far as I know, and I knew it was wrong, but it just kept on pulling me back, sort of thing. So I went to uni, and I knew I have to deal with this now. I have to deal with this here, because if I don't deal with it now, it's always going to have a hold on me. And I felt so challenged. One of the things that is to bring it out into the light, and something so important with a struggle like that, with an addiction like that, is to bring it into the light, because it's so easy to keep it in the darkness and a secret, but when you bring it into light, it loses its power. And one of the things I felt to do was to get a mentor to hold me accountable in that area.
That's wonderful.
And I had a great mentor, a guy called Lee, and he held me accountable in that, walked through the journey with me, and I started to walk into freedom. But most of all, I found a joy in Jesus that couldn't replace anything, any hit I got any other way. I found this relationship with Jesus that was so much greater and more powerful than anything else that the world could offer.
Wonderful.
And that was something that I still try to live in today, and seek after today, to live in that place of joy with God.
So if there's someone listening to our conversation, Paul, and they are struggling with that addiction or a similar addiction, there are other addictions, then what you're saying is bring it into the light.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't like an instant healing moment for me. It was a journey. And I'd just encourage anybody who's going through that to have such grace with yourself, and be patient, and God will start to work that in you. But just seek after Him, and find that joy that you can have with Him.
And I think it's really important to say, one of the things Jesus said when He came, recorded in the Bible, is He come to set us free. And that includes addiction. So He sets us free from the power of sin. And we can say we're a follower of Jesus. But then there are other things that try and hold us captive, and He wants to set us free, whatever that is. Doesn't He? So that's wonderful. Thank you. So during that time you had quite a life transformation.
It was, it's the best sort of best single years of my life, really, those 3 years.
That's wonderful. And from that, I think you went on your first short-term mission trip.
Over that period. Well, I'd done a few trips over that period, from the internship through to going to Bible college. I did a few trips over that time. My first mission was in 2010. I went to Malawi. And had an amazing time out there. It was something so special about going into a developing world context. And I hadn't grown up in a super privileged background, but there's like anyone growing up in the West, it is a privileged background. And I suddenly thought, I've not had it bad at all, really. No. And when you're going out there and you're seeing kids walking around in rags, and my heart went out, and I thought, God, I need to do something with this.
Yeah.
And so from that sort of first trip, every year I tried to commit to doing a trip every year to a different place.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, start my journey there.
Yeah. So we're going to listen to your second choice now, Paul. Can you introduce that for us?
Yes. So another great band that I used to go and see is Worldwide Message Tribe, and they do this great song called Frantic, and if you know Worldwide Message Tribe, then or going to any of the things, there's a lot of jumping up and down and getting excited, and this song just expresses that and that sort of excitement I had in my younger years and still have, hopefully, to jump up for Jesus.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes, this is Close Encounters with me, Anne Donaldson, and my guest today is Paul Jones. And Paul, we were hearing about your first short-term mission trip to Malawi and how it opened your eyes and the desire to do further trips.
Yeah.
You went to different nations, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a number of different nations. Romania, went Malta as well, which doesn't necessarily sound like a mission trip, but amazing time. And I went to a few different places. Brazil we went to as well.
Wow.
And part of while I was gardening and doing the internship and everything as well, is I started to connect with a guy called Jonathan Conrave, who does a lot of evangelistic stuff, and I started to do a few trips with him as well. Went to Slovakia with him and a few things around the UK as well, and had an amazing time. And then we came, I got the opportunity to go to India.
Wow.
And that was a really significant trip for me.
So at this point, it's around the year 2014?
Yes, 2014. Yeah, I'd have been 23.
Yeah, so there was a lot happening in your life.
Yes, very busy. Yeah.
So tell us about this trip to India and the significance of it for you.
Yeah, well, India is an interesting place to go to. Again, completely different to anywhere else. When we first landed there, I felt that it was just overwhelming. The atmosphere, the people. It's a completely overwhelming place to go into. But I just knew I'd had a sort of verse from the Bible over me that God would overshadow me and protect me as I go in. And I just went in there with that confidence that God had me in that place. And we ran like an evangelistic event there called Miracle Fest. It had a big banner, we'd call it a crusade sort of thing. And so excited to be part of that, really. And we started to do these meetings where we'd share the gospel message, Jesus loved people, and then at the end people would come forward for healing and things like that. And during that time I just saw God move in a way that I had experienced a little bit before, but just it was like we'd call it like an open heaven, really, where God started to do significant healing miracles. Yeah, it's just so amazing. I remember prayed for a man who was deaf in his right ear, and he came back the first night. The second night he came back, prayed for him again, and the second night he was healed, complete hearing in his right ear. There was a young lad who came in who was lame. He came in on a wheelchair. He left walking. Absolutely amazing. And we saw blind eyes opened and all sorts of things like that. It was a wonderful time. There was actually a man who had flown in for an operation in Hyderabad where we were, and he'd been flown in because he had a tumour on his stomach.
Right.
And he came along to the meeting. We didn't even lay hands on him, but when he went for his operation the following week, they couldn't find a trace of cancer on him. So absolutely amazing to be part of that whole experience out there.
And it causes your faith to rise.
It does,
And all it really does is affirm what we read in the Bible. But it's something, I don't know, I think our expectations are sometimes too low. And in those settings, our expectations of what God is doing rises. It's fantastic. And something else significant happened for you while you were there.
So I came back off that trip and I just felt God stirring something in me, and I thought I've got to go back again. So I went back within a couple of months. I was back out in India again, and this was a slightly different trip. I stayed with the pastors who had hosted the event, and I actually stayed in their house and did some work in that community there. And I remember just having just a special time. And just during that time, I remember one morning I got up and I sat on my bed and I felt God come into the room with me. and I felt God say to me, it wasn't an audible voice, but a real knowing in your knower, as you might say, that God said, I want you to give your life to this. I want you to give your life to this. And that kind of calling to serve Jesus, that calling to study the Bible. And that's what I really felt stirring me on that morning. And I still remember sitting there and just God's presence coming and say, this is what I want you to do.
So it's interesting, isn't it? So all those attempts, like the construction, the gardening, the sandwiches and all the other things, were actually God directing you towards what he was calling you to, and it's beautiful, isn't it? And you're walking in that now, and that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely brilliant. So I think perhaps is it time for us to listen to your next song?
Great,
So tell us why you chose this one, Paul.
So the song's We Glorify Your Name by Hillsong, and it's a song that during that year working with Jonathan, going to all these places, just the line is, we glorify your name in all the earth. And I just felt that was a real heart calling to go round and share the love of Jesus.
Thank you. Welcome back to Close Encounters on Cross Rhythms with me, Anne Donaldson, and my guest today is Paul Jones. And so, Paul, we were hearing about your call to full-time ministry and a heart for missions particularly. So how did that unfold? So
as I shared earlier, I went to Bible college, and I had this narrative, like I said, Paul's a bit stupid, I can't do that, through to going, and actually I came out of Bible college with a first-class degree.
Wow.
I now hold a master's as well. So amazing, I say that to glorify God, because there's no way I could have done that. And a lot of patience for my mum to proofread everything.
Wonderful.
But I came out of that, and during that time at college, I had opportunity to do church placements. So I had the first 2 years I went into Lincoln, a church in Lincoln. Fantastic opportunity there, and great people. And then I felt in my third year just the stirring to go somewhere different. And I connected with a couple of pastors in Uttoxeter, had a real heart for mission. I just connected with that heart, and got the opportunity. They invited me to do a placement there in Uttoxeter, and really, the rest is history. I just got on like a house on fire. It was fantastic.
Because they're a very mission-minded church.
Yes, they are.
So it wasn't just the work that caught you when you were at Uttoxeter. A young lady caught your attention, didn't she?
Well, she did. Yes, definitely. So we'd known each other for a couple of years actually, and I was very minded. I'll just keep my eyes on following Jesus sort of thing. Emma had another idea. So she got involved in the church a lot and got around me a bit, and I remember we were walking through town one day together, and she just reached over and touched my arm, and that was the moment for me. The arm touch, that was the electricity crossing over. Oh yes, let's pursue this. So yes, we started dating, and we got engaged, and it was a whirlwind romance really. And we actually got married on lockdown day, 4 hours before Boris Johnson announced a lockdown. So we think we might have been, please correct me listeners if I'm wrong, but we might have been the last couple in the UK to get married before lockdown. What was amazing about that is that God used that story. And the media got attention of it, and we were interviewed. And, I said, we wanted to honour God with going into lockdown together as a married couple in that way. And it was then published in 17 different papers all around the UK.
And
it was a really positive story for quite a dark time. And I'm just amazed how God used that story in our lives.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you've faced some disappointments though as a couple, haven't you? So can you share with us a little bit?
So as you do when you're if anyone is familiar with how churches can be sometimes, that after a year or so people start asking, are you going to have children? Right. And we had those questions as well, and we had been trying from about sort of 6 months into the marriage, and and because we really wanted to have a family, and sadly that didn't happen straight away, and it still hasn't happened yet. But we went for tests and things like that, as you do when you're in that situation.
Yes.
And I was actually diagnosed with infertility.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, well, this isn't going to happen unless you get some help. So we went through that getting help procedure of going through IVF.
Yeah.
And we at this time we're all praying into it, believing God can do something special. Like I shared the miracles we've seen earlier, sort of thing.
That's it.
And I actually knew God could do it because I'd seen it with my younger brother, Barney. So when he was born, amazingly, during my mum's pregnancy, my mum was actually woken up during pregnancy at 2 a.m. in the morning, and she knew something wasn't right in the pregnancy. And over that time, she knew she had to go to hospital. So she went to hospital, and it turned out she'd had a bleed, a mysterious bleed that had somehow stopped.
Yeah.
Now, we found out later on that at the same time, 2 a.m. that night, a lady in the church called Geraldine had woken up with a specific heart to pray for my mum.
Wow.
And Geraldine didn't know that my mum was pregnant. And that came out later.
Yeah.
But then mum goes to give birth, and there's a complication in the birthing moment. And in that moment, the umbilical cord had got wrapped around Barney's neck, and it was actually, there was a specific condition with it that where it snapped, it had a weakness and it actually snapped. And what would normally happen is the midwife would look after the mum, and the baby might die, sort of thing. But on that day, a trainee was in the room as well to look after Barney.
Wow.
So absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
What made it really remarkable is the trainee, part of her study, she said, I need to look at this case for my studies. And she goes on to look at this, and she looks at all the situations where the umbilical cord is stuck with this specific condition, and she said there weren't any other babies that survived this.
Wow.
Barney was unique.
Yeah.
And so I know God can do it.
That's
but
right.
So we go into IVF with that kind of, I know he can do it.
Yeah.
And Emma gets pregnant, and I'm like, yes, come on, Lord, this is amazing. A few weeks in, they start to say, oh, something doesn't look quite right. Oh. And sadly, Emma started to miscarry a few weeks into, and she miscarried, I think, by week 8 or something like that. And it was the most, going from that side, yes, God's doing it, it's happening, I can pray and believe it, to that moment of absolute despair, really, and suddenly doubting everything that you believe is true. And some of the most painful weeks of my life were just holding Emma weeping in bed, and my church were great, releasing me, and giving us time to grieve in that way, but it was so painful.
And so you in that time, and you're questioning, God, where are you in this? Is that, what was your experience, Paul? How did you feel him respond to you?
Yeah, well, it's so hard, Anne, and I appreciate that some people listening today might have gone through similar experiences. And my heart goes out to you, because there are no words, there's no comfort, but I believe that God was a comfort in that situation, and it's supernatural, but a beyond natural comfort, for me, and over that time, that I did have doubts about it, and we both do. And what I found was that doubt, actually, instead of allowing doubt to become something that pushed me away from God, doubt is something that can actually allow us to explore faith. Right. And so you might have people listening today, actually, who have doubts about things because of experiences, because of traumas that have happened in their lives, and allow that doubt to bring you to faith, to bring you to explore who God really is in that situation. Because I felt like I'd almost put God on this pedestal of, he has to do this because that's what I've seen before. But God is God, he can do what he wants, and his ways are beyond my thoughts and ways. And that's what I came to, really, in that journey of, actually, I'm more in awe and of God now than I was before, because I have a better understanding, I suppose, of who he is, that he loves me, even though I've done things wrong. I've went through terrible situations. And I believe he can still do that. Like, we've experienced that with my brother, that miraculous birth. And I believe he can still do it for us. But those moments of doubt is going to be so testing.
Yes.
I just encourage anyone who's listening to just allow those doubts to draw them to God. A bit like the story of, if you know, doubting Thomas in the Bible.
Yes.
But he had doubts, didn't he?
Yeah.
But when he's presented with Jesus, who Jesus really is,
that's it.
Who Jesus really is, he says, my Lord and my God.
Yeah.
And I come to that place, I suppose, in that time.
Yeah.
But God was also very faithful to us in the little things as well. And, you know, from Emma got a job quite amazingly, which was just perfect fit for her.
Yeah.
And I think without that job, you know, she might have had a breakdown. I don't know. But, you know, there was these small mercies that were so faithful. It showed a faithful God to us in that situation, that this job was such a source of hope for her. Yeah. And we were also given a cruise to go on as well, just to, you know, about a year after we were given this cruise to go on by a wonderful sort of couple, just to have that. So there were moments like that where we absolutely saw God just provide and give us some respite in that as well. So because we couldn't have afforded to do that.
But thank you for being so vulnerable in sharing that. And like you say, I'm sure that will speak to a number of people who are listening. And I know that the song you've chosen now it is part of that process of healing and restoration, isn't it? Yeah,
so this is Emma's favourite song.
Yeah.
I had to put it in today.
Yes.
It's Oceans by Hillsong, and very powerful. Very powerful words over that time.
Thank you. You're listening to Close Encounters with me, Anne Donaldson, and my guest today is Paul Jones. And before that beautiful song, we were hearing about some of the challenges that you and Emma have faced and continue in that sense. But that your faith has gone deep and strong, and your passion for missions hasn't faded at all. So tell us about that passion for mission.
Yeah, so one of my roles at Renew is to give opportunity for people to experience a mission trip for themselves, just like I did, you know, back when I was younger, and had really just part of forming my life, and to give opportunity in for other people as well. And so we take teams out there from the church, and we go to Romania at the moment. That's one of the main places we visit. Right. So we do 2 or 3 trips a year out to Romania, and we've had an amazing time taking teams. And people go out there not sure what to expect, a bit nervous maybe, and they come back and think, wow, that was amazing, and they always come back blessed. They go to give and to bless others, but they always come back blessed themselves. And you know, the last team I took, it was the youngest guy was 18 years old, just going to uni. The oldest lady was 82 years old. So there was and everyone in between. So it can be for anybody. So never discount yourself from experience that opportunity for a trip. Yeah.
And I know your heart for missions isn't just in the short term overseas, but it's in the local community, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The couple who we work with in Romania, amazing in that community. They work with children, they work with sex workers as well out there. So absolutely amazing people out there in Romania.
Wonderful. Well, Paul, it's been an absolute delight having you here today. Thank you so much for the time and for coming in, and thank you for sharing, and so open and vulnerable. And I know it's going to be a great blessing for those who listen, as it has for me. So thank you so much. And would you just share what your final choice of song is?
Yes, well, thank you again, Anne, for the opportunity today. It's been wonderful. My final choice today is All Hail King Jesus by Bethel.
Wonderful, thank you.
Close Encounters on Cross Rhythms. True stories, real people.